Hi, welcome to EDSC 551. This is week 2. This week, you have your first assignment that is due, and you also have a discussion board, one discussion board topic that is due this week as well. Your assignment is Ethics and Professionalism for School Counselor. If you have any questions about the detailness of the assignment, please feel free to review the welcome video that went over details about the assignment and its information. This week, I will be presenting on chapters 3 and 4, cyberspace and FERPA, according to the textbook. So I'll begin sharing my screen with you and beginning that information. All right, so welcome to cyberspace and FERPA. So, technological advances in society, especially with the internet, have had a significant impact on the professionalism of counseling. So, the counseling profession has established a solid presence in the internet. Technology offers an abundant opportunities to access virtual libraries for researching the latest information on client problems and effective counseling techniques, as well as to collaborate and consult with other professionals around the world. As we are well aware now, we have the ability to counsel our students virtually, and this does bring about some of the additional concerns as to our laws and ethics and what we're responsible for as a school counselor. We have discussed the new ethical outlaws that from ASCA, and those are our guidelines to help us establish what we're responsible for. And in this course, we will continue to go over various areas that is important to our roles. So technology is being used today in mental health in many ways that weren't previously unimagined. Again, we refer students to online counseling with outside collaboration. At my school district, we use Hazel Health, and Hazel Health provides counseling for students during the school day, but virtually. They have given us and purchased a in laptop so that it is secure, and we have a secure network that they go through where different therapists can contact the student and meet with them with headsets on in an area that is safe and that is being supervised by school counselors. So that is one agency that's providing and being able to provide additional services. I also have face-to-face services on my campus through D.D. Hirsch Mental Health Services. But as we know, with our mental health services and our MFTs, they usually have a maximum caseload of 10. So when you have ongoing students that need additional support, this is often very difficult for them to be able to service many students on campus. So through these methods of online servicing, students are able to still be seen during the school day, which is very effective, especially in my area where students, parents have multiple children and are not able, and sometimes multiple children with disabilities. So they're constantly going to various appointments. So it's nice if one child can be seen during the day for the concerns that they have. So counselors are providing real-time two-way video counseling sessions to clients who are on the other side of the world, and clients are presented with issues related specifically to their social media activities, such as internet addiction, cyberbullying, and leaving current relationships for ones they found online. So the introduction of Section 8 in the Code of Ethics of ASCA, which was devoted to ethical issues related to technology, states that counselors, whether or not they want to, must adapt. Counselors actively attempt to understand the evolving nature of profession with regards to distance counseling, technology, social media, and how such resources may be used to better serve their clients. Counselors should strive to become knowledgeable about these resources, and counselors who engage in these uses of distance counseling or technology or social media should develop knowledge and skills regarding and related to technical, ethical, and legal considerations. So the Code of Ethics requires that students, counselors actively attempt to understand the new issues related to technology in counseling. And further, if they engage in the use of technology in developing their skills. The book references our direct student counseling services, and this is known as enduring the component of the ASCA national model where direct and indirect services are provided. Direct services are considered those that are in person interaction between the school counselor and the student and includes core curriculum, individual student planning, and response to services. School counseling deliveries can include synchronous and asynchronous online delivery, where one is not physically co-located with the student, thus the person to person rather than in person. So this is also considered direct services. Indirect services are those provided on behalf of the student as a result of the school counselor's interaction with others. And these services are delivered through strategies such as referrals, consultations, collaborations, and ask a member respondents indicate how frequently they use online or remote settings for these systems. So, what is the ASCA position on technology? The counselor and the student safety and use of technology, supporting school counselors in encouraging students to take full advantage of technological resources. The collaboration of the school counselor, educator, parent, guardian, and law enforcement officials is necessary to ensure the student's protection and aid in disclosing possible risks of the internet use. Risks consistently increase as more students access the use of technology. So basically, it is a collaborative effort with everyone to ensure that students are fully aware of the risks of technology. So we send out as a school and a district information citing this. Also, at our school district, each student is allowed to take home a computer to access the internet and homework and other key software that we use that requires our specific online notebooks in order to be utilized. Many times, if you have like an iPad or something else, those softwares are not available. So, with that new technology, we make sure that the parent signs that they are responsible and that they'll be making sure that the student is following the internet policies and procedures, and then also making sure that they are observing and, watching them. We do have Bloxy set up. That is another software technology that the school district uses to see if the student is searching inappropriate things. So we get these Bloxy alerts throughout the day. And this has also been a concern for counselors. Do they need to act on these Bloxy alerts? And even though ASCA's position is that we're not 24/7, however, we do need to act on it as quickly as possible once we return back to our regular work hours. So it is important for the usage of this, and Dr. Stone mentions this, that no, we're not 24-hour agency, but if we are open between 8 and 4:30, then we're responsible, and those are our work hours. Those are the times when we are to act on it. If we get something after those hours, then we are to act on it as quickly as possible once we return back to the school. Um, so some other safety and privacy risks students may face with technology are online addictions, invasion of privacy and disclosure of personal information, inappropriate online communication, easy access to inappropriate content and media, cheating and copyright infringements, cyberbullying, harassment, and sexual predators. So many of our districts have a course where they talk about appropriate technology, internet safety. And this is usually something that the counselor does for the different age groups. Now, I don't utilize this as it relates to elementary. However, in middle and high school, many of the counselors design their own um, we- uh, they designed their own counseling PowerPoints to address these concerns because these concerns can be cause many other problems on the campus with fighting, cyberbullying, etc. So the use of appropriate technology. Some actions that school counselors can take to promote safety: collaborate on the development of policies, respond to online incidents affecting conditions for learning, assist the community in detecting at-risk behaviors, addressing digital citizenship, technology, literacy, privacy, and the reputation of social awareness. Now, in the elementary, we focus on this through our Hawthorne Parent Academy. That is our Hearth monthly meetings that I adhere um, to topics that address these type of issues. So what I'm doing is educating the parents on the safety and the importance of overseeing how to utilize the technology safely so that the students can do their homework, practice, repeat with our computers that they check out for home. And this is important because sometimes parents are not able to help their children at home. And if they use the software can practice language arts, reading, math, science, all of these different subject areas if the parent is making sure that the student is using the information correctly. Once they are connected to the internet, it does not absolve them from being connected to YouTube. So those are the negatives behind it. So we teach our parents to be sure to oversee it and watch because they can get really good at toggling, especially at elementary level. So we ask them to make sure that they are listening to the ebooks with them while doing the homework and asking questions. So that they know that they're on the right page and that they are not just using the YouTube for that. Can you be disciplined or terminated for your behavior on their social media accounts? So, dozens of cases demonstrated that educators can and do lose their jobs over online comments and pictures. So, a number of states have passed laws or policies limiting student and educators' contact into cyberspace. And to avoiding improper student educator relationships. So, this is important that we have this technology. We do communicate with our students and parents on this technology, but just making sure that you remain professional at all time. One of the systems that we've been using over the past few since Class Dojo, since the pandemic is Class Dojo. Class Dojo is not a safe use of it because anyone can get in contact with that information on Class Dojo. So, since it has safety precautions, we are now moving as of 2025 to Power School, which keeps us more connected. So now we can use the same type of texting that works well for our parents and updating so that parents can communicate with us very quickly. And this helps with absences. This helps with um, quick notes, having them to call the school immediately. Sometimes they're not able to answer their phone if they're working. And when you can send a quick text message to them without using your personal cell phone, then it's helpful so that the parent can contact the school at their earliest convenience. Professional distance is one of the things that we need to be aware of. It's the space professionals must keep between their professional relationship with another and other relationships that they have within that person. Many times, especially in elementary school, parents and teachers um, Parents invite teachers to events outside of the school. And it's very healthy to be able to go to those events and see your student in a different environment. Perhaps they're not the greatest at reading and writing, but they are excelling in a sport, dance, or something else. And having your teacher there to support you and other members, such as school counselors, to support you furthers the college and career and gives you a different aspect of that child and their strengths, and then helps you to be able to focus on that strength as it relates to the educational setting. So it's important that we attend these events, but maintaining a professional distance at the same time. The disinhibition effect, people say and do things in cyber worlds that they would not ordinarily do face to face in conversations. We see this all the time with our students where they say mean things and they're constantly um, um, s- saying things that they wouldn't say face to face at the school because they know that it would cause an argument or a fight and that it would lead to a suspension. So this is important. Online environment creates a feeling of invisibility and anonymity, and this anonymity amplifies the disinhibition effect and resulting in people dropping their guard and revealing too much about themselves, such as secrets, fears, and wishes. And so we need to prepare our students for this and understand that it never goes away. I think that that's super important in elementary because sometimes students aren't aware and they don't know that you can find it. I've seen that on Block C where we get an alert and I bring the student down and they tell me, I didn't do it, I didn't do it. And then I show them exactly what they did, what time they did it, how long they were on it. And then they're like, okay, Miss Bobo, I'm sorry. So these are things that we need to be aware of and educate our students on as they are exploring the internet. Cyberspace search and seizure. A reasonable search of a student's possessions of school officials occurs when the school officials are suspicious of a student's activities and have reason to believe that the student has violated those regulations. And when they need to conduct a search, it is directly related to the initial suspicion. So it's important that we're not using it for one thing and then going into something else. So, this is usually a topic of many court cases involving school officials. And so, um, one that was familiar and referenced in the book was Clump versus Nazareth Area School District. The teacher confiscated Clump's cell phone, and when Clump violated school rules, and used it in the classroom. The teacher and principal later assessed Clump's personal text messages, voice messages, and made phone calls to classmates to inquire about drug activities. A drug-related text message was received while the officials were in possession of the phone. So again, um, the search and seizure, you know, started with the use of the phone in the school, but once the text message came through for the drug related situation, it allowed them to pursue it further. So, FERPA, what is it? Okay, it stands for Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. It was enacted in 1974 and it protects the privacy of students' educational records. It applies to all schools that receive funds from the U.S. Department of Education, and it grants parents certain rights over their children's educational records until the student turns 18 or attends a school beyond high school. So even if a school student graduates at 16 or 17, um, it once the student is off in college, then the parents has don't have the rights to their children's educational records. Now, recently that has changed because a new law has come into play, and that law states that as long as the student is a dependent of that parent, the parent still has rights to the educational records. So managing the school's educational records does not fall in with the within the appropriate roles of school counselors, but it's important to have a working knowledge of FERPA guidelines and advocate for the legal and ethical protection of school counselors' case notes and other written information that's kept on the students. Some key provisions of FERPA: parents, students have the right to access educational records. They have the right to request amendments to inaccurate records, and students must have written consent to disclose information except under certain exceptions. Directory information can be disclosed without consent, but parents can opt out of it. So parents can provide written consent for identifiable information, which is disclosed in that may be disclosed in students' educational records. There is a partial list of the exceptions that do not require parents or eligible student permission. These are some of them. When a school official with legitimate interest, like a school counselor employed by or under contract of the school, can official, along with teachers and others, though they can access those student records. Other schools, which a student is transferring, federal, state educational officials for the purpose of audit or evaluation, those conducting specific studies for the school, organizations involved in accreditation, holders of judicial order and law issued by subpoena, appropriate parties in connection with health or safety emergency, local and state authorities in the juvenile justice system in compliance with specific state laws, and then an agency caseworker or other representative of state or local child welfare agencies or tribal organizations in relation to foster cases. So the directory information is considered typical and includes basic contact information about the student's name, address, telephone number, and FERPA allows school districts to determine the items which they will consider directory information with certain parameters. And school districts can establish policies and procedures regarding the release of this directory information, including having limited directory information policies, and they may decide to not participate in releasing this information. With our dual immersion program, this directory information was crucial to some of the parents who did not speak Spanish in that program to be able to consult and speak to a parent who does speak Spanish in order to help and assist that child in being successful with the dual immersion program. And, as time moved on, everybody participated in the directory information, but we have today many people opt out, which is, difficult for some of those parents who need additional support. So how often are parents notified of FERPA? The school district is required to notify parents of their right each year. So every year, parents receive information on FERPA laws and being able to opt out of their child's directory information being made public. FERPA guidelines delineate who may have access to educational records without parent permission. And legitimate educational interest generally means you can access an educational record for the purpose of performing a task within your job description, performing a task related to student education, performing a task related to discipline, and providing a service or benefit related to the student or the student's family, such as counseling, healthcare, or job placement. All right, thank you so much for Thank you so much for participating and watching the instructor video for week 2. And I will see you in our live session week 3.